So adding a new page, you've got a couple different options to start that off. You can go to the new button at the top of the page, top of your site, and select page. Or you can go to the sidebar, roll over the pages menu and click add new. Or if it's a post, you can roll over the sidebar on the post menu on the sidebar and click add new. Or if you're in the all page menu, just click the add new button. So I'm just going to click the add new button. And this starts a brand new, completely fresh page in WordPress. So this interface is codenamed Gutenberg. It came out a couple of years ago. It's a radically different way of adding content compared to the way things used to be. Basically, content's added in blocks. Think of them as wooden blocks you played with when you were a little kid. Blocks of content can be stacked on top of each other, next to each other, beneath them, other elements. It's very, very flexible. The whole thing with WordPress is once you get in there and just start creating content, kind of worry about the structure later. You can move it around as you see fit afterwards. So we're going to go over the interface first, and then I'm going to go over some of the other elements and the basic blocks of content, and then we'll move on to other things. So the main area in front of you, this is the main content area. This is where you're going to build your page. By default, WordPress right off the bat wants to prompt you to add a title, and it also prompts you to create a new block of content. Blocks of content are created either by hitting the add block button over on the right, or at the very top you can do the block inserter. This gives you options for selecting different types of blocks of content. Talk about that more in a second. Beneath the main content area, you're going to see several different drop downs. Talk about that in a second. Drop down menus. Just be aware that these are movable, so they may not be in the exact order you see here on my page. And then over on the right, you've got a contextual menu. Right now it says page, but it also can revert to block. So depending upon what you're doing on the web page, it's going to show either the page menu, and the page menu controls the overall functionality of the page you're working on and the publishing status. Or if you're actually working within a block of content, like say you're typing some text out, it's going to shift to the block menu. So depending upon the block of content that you're using, there's going to be very different options for you to choose from under the block menu. We'll talk about that more in a second. So on the top right, you're going to see two other elements, well, several other elements. There's the publishing area. You've got the ability to save things as a draft, you can preview it, or you can publish it. Publishing it makes it live for the world to see. There's also the gear. What the gear does, it just basically hides or shows the contextual menu. So if you get to a page and for some reason you don't see a menu, just click the gear and that'll show up there for you. It'll show it for you. Also in the top right, you're going to see the ellipsis, the three dots. If you click on that, you've got other options. So WordPress is a very flexible environment. It's also very highly configurable. Depending upon how you like to work, you've got a lot of different options for changing up the work environment. What I'd recommend is once you get access, just play around with the different settings in here and see what works for you. One option is full screen mode. If you click on that, it hides your top and side bar navigation. Just makes it a little bit more distraction free. There's also other options there. There's also a visual or code editor. Right now we're in visual mode. It's kind of the default mode for putting up together web pages. Code editor, if you click on that, allows you to actually work with HTML. It's hypertext markup language. It's the language of the web for building web pages. If you're into that, you're welcome to use that. They'll give you more control, but it's also, if you're not into that, it can be very frightening and very ugly. So I just say recommend using the visual editor mode. There's other options here as well too. Like I said, go ahead and explore and see what works for you. To hide that, just click on the ellipsis again and it'll hide it.